Hi, this is Sean Wallace, the Dark Destroyer from the Chase, and you're listening to The Late Shift. I don't listen to it, but it's probably adequate. Keep on listening, or else.
Hello everybody, and welcome to The Late Shift. I will be your host, James, and I'm joined by
Saul
and Jonah.
And we are down our only...
our valiant leader.
Valiant leader, yeah.
I see what you did there. Valiant leader.
Classic.
That is a good one.
For new listeners, the other person that should be here is called Val.
Yeah.
Now you can be in on the joke.
The usual voice of reason and order.
Has collapsed.
Fled, in fact.
Yeah, fled.
Yeah, she's been deported.
She's been deported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Brexit's coming up.
No, well, I thought it was more because she signed up to an app which is called, like, Nationality Roulette. And you spin the wheel, it gives you a nationality, you got to go there.
Yeah, she's in Kathmandu.
Yeah.
She's played it a few times. That's why she has so many under her belt.
Turns out it's the only reason she was here.
Got lucky and rolled on England.
Got the golden spin achievement. It's like, would you risk that? Honest question. If someone came right now, you get the full nationality of whatever you spin.
No.
Just statistically, there are countries that are going to be worse off than where I live at the moment. Not that where I live is great, but
It's better
than
than
most.
Yeah, exactly.
1 second. I'm gonna spin now.
What do you mean?
I'm just typing random country. Montenegro.
not great.
Oh,
No.
wait, do me.
Okay, so you would get the Caribbean Netherlands.
Okay.
Sunny?
Yes.
Jonah.
That thing that I love. I like cold countries.
Jonah, you're being forced into the Czech Republic.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Oh, like Prague's a nice city.
Yeah.
Prague's
That's not bad. I think we
Prague's
got off
in the Czech Republic.
We got
right?
off pretty scot-free, seeing as the next one that I just picked up was the Democratic Republic of Congo.
This is why. I
So
know
where's
it's-
Val?
Where's Val?
Is she in...
Kathmandu.
She's in Kathmandu.
Okay. So she... Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
To any listeners in Kathmandu, try find her. She'll stand out like a sore thumb, but
Yeah.
How will the sort of thumbs stand out?
it depends where you put them.
Yeah, it does.
Amongst other sore
Imagine
thumbs,
this,
not
yeah.
much.
I mean, I'm just saying,
Okay,
I haven't
imagine-
seen many sore thumbs,
Okay.
so therefore they must not stand
Imagine
out
this.
that much.
You go to McDonald's, you order a burger. You look into your box, no burger. Severed thumb. That'd stand out.
Well, that's not sore though. That's
I think it's pretty sore. The injury might be fresh. It looks fresh.
well, the thumb can't feel it.
Well, I mean, it's McDonald's. It's always made fresh.
Okay, what's more disturbing? A severed thumb, or you look in the box and there's a hole at the bottom of it, and at the bottom of the table there's a man with a crushed thumb poking it through.
Well, at least he hasn't necessarily bled so much on. It doesn't
Your
matter.
empty
There's
box.
no food. Yeah.
You've bled on my box, you fuck.
The fact that I sat at the table with a man stored underneath it would perturb me. Yeah.
So,
Anyway, structure, progression,
Order.
The things
Order.
what do we do?
Cats, this way, in the back in the bag, back in the bag.
What do we usually do at this? We've done the intro. We faffed about a bit. What comes next?
we go to today in history.
We didn't even faff about that much. So, in your face, Val, we can do this without you.
I don't know. James's hypotheticals are usually pretty faffy.
I'm not giving
Well, okay, listen to this. Right, you're in McDonald's.
You opened with a hypothetical.
about sore thumb. Oh yeah, I did. I lose track of them. There's a lot of hypotheticals.
Is it you, or is it something else in you that just... Do you have
Or,
temporary...
what, like I'm
kind
the
of fugue
Oracle of
states?
Delphi.
Yeah.
Like someone treks up a mountain just to talk to me, and they're like, "So your dick is a banana." And they're like, "The strange vision." Like I would believe that all oracles are just people like me who love hypotheticals, and people think there's some wisdom to it, but it's just complete bullshit. They're like, "What would you do if your wife fucked a bull?" What? And it got pregnant. I
the
guess
bull got pregnant.
No, your wife.
Yeah, reverse pregnancy, up the dick.
Is she healthy? Yeah, she gives birth to a half bull, half man thing. What do you do with it? I guess I'd lock it in a maze. Okay. Don't know if that's going to happen, but if it does, you're prepared.
Anyway, Saul, you had a story, and you're assuming yours is first.
I am assuming.
What? Oh, throw us a date.
My
Wager.
date is wager. I'm wagering my date against yours, James, because my one is 1260.
Yeah, mine's 1821.
So I go first.
Okay, so as you wish.
Wait. AD or BC?
Yeah.
So it makes all the difference.
It does make all the difference.
AD.
Oh, well then I win, don't I? I'm here to talk to you about King of Numidia.
Makes sense.
So your event is, let me guess,
Could be a crusade.
Could be some Mongolage.
Oh. Saul's looking all coy. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
I think Mongols.
Some Mongolage. Yes, because in 1260, Kublai Khan became the Great Khan.
Hey.
So this I will be discussing, well not discussing, telling you the
The
story.
great palace of Xanadu, said a poet who had never been outside of Yorkshire.
Kublai Khan did say also, I'm done with this whole China malarkey. So he did.
What are we talking about? Genghis Khan's Chinese?
Genghis Khan is Chinese.
I don't know why we're trying to get Chinese credit back after we said
we've
Dalai
lost it.
Lama's
Oh, no.
allowed.
That was the plan with this one.
Yeah.
The plan is to get some...
Sorry, just like really hammerly whoever really hammerly edit over. Like we've never contradicted the glorious Chinese state.
Yeah, Xi Jinping is
Not
and
Winnie
forever
the
will
Pooh.
be our moral leader, and is not at all a denizen of the 100-acre wood.
So, I'm going to... Before I go into the story of... Mainly, I'm going to be talking
Of
about...
old Kubels.
I'm going to be telling Kubels. No. He was born in Mongolia in 1215 at the age of 0.
Odd decision for such a young man, but
So 1215. This was obviously when Genghis was like proper hamming it up. He was in his height. He was there, just like Big Daddy.
I don't
of
think the
Mongolia.
Islamic world felt like Genghis Khan was hamming it up. Like,
Doing a pretty bang up job of ending their renaissance.
oh look how you're just hamming it up over there. He's just burning one of those seeds to the ground.
Just sort of with a handful of books, just shoving
Yeah.
them in a river.
In the background, you can just see another Shah getting run over by horses in his carpet, and squirting out of it like a froob.
It was like classic Genghis.
Also, always got his dick wet.
Always, yeah. The man had a problem. I insist. I want to see.
Glandular, yeah.
I want to see Tony Robinson do a show on Genghis Khan's glandular condition that made him come so much, because he must have the amount of children. Because I'm telling you, like, mere men are not capable of such.
Have you seen, the biopic Mongol?
Yeah,
And he keeps coming back to that advice his dad gave him, it's like find a woman with strong legs. And
Yeah.
he keeps going but almost like he turns to his son, it's like always dick and pussy.
Yeah.
Good king, dick and pussy.
Well, I mean,
but what if I need to? No but, no if, no what.
No buts especially. Always preggers.
Yeah, not about.
so his father, Kublai's father, his father Taui was he was of course military leader. He was actually Genghis's youngest son from his favourite wife.
Borte.
Yes.
With the strong legs.
With the strong legs and the very flat face, because Mongols believed that if you didn't have a very flat face, you would go mad.
Serious?
Yeah.
That's...
But yeah, so Taui died of alcoholism. But I mean, to be honest, it didn't really change him too much because his dad was always warring, so he never really spent time with him. A lot of Kublai's growing up from the age of 15 onwards was, well, actually, pretty much all of his life was with his mother.
I love the idea, like, well, his dad was always worrying, that's why he drunk. Where's your dad? Killing someone, not loving me.
No, Kublai wasn't drinking, his dad was.
No, his dad, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Like,
I didn't just skip, like, from beginning to end of Kublai. Like, he died.
Kublai Khan was born at the age of 1 and died of alcoholism.
Turns out, yeah, I mean, vodka's no substitute for breast milk.
So his mother, Sultani, she actually gained the respect of Genghis because she was one of the only women that actually stood up to him. Genghis's favourite wife's fourth youngest child wife
Stood up to him.
stood up to him.
Yeah, he was like, hey, come here. And she went, no, I'm going to stay right where I am with my dignity intact. And he went, okay, I respect that. And then all the other women in the camp dropped their mouths and went, that's it? That's how you get him to leave you alone?
Well, it did make me laugh because the fact that, like, yeah, apparently she was she was a very, very strong character. Obviously, you know a lot about Mongolia.
Yeah,
So the fact that the women would often fight alongside the men and things like that, and also look after and rule areas.
Yeah.
That's why Mongolian Mongolian great khans would have 4 wives as tradition. So you'd have different households ruling different areas. Also, the fact that even at a very, very young age, Genghis apparently said that he could see that Kublai was going to grow up and become strong and smart. So, I mean, for Genghis, who had lots of children, to mention that of one of his grandchildren, to be like, this guy, he knows where he's going. Because, like, I mean, at the age of 3, he could ride a horse and shoot a bow and arrow.
Yeah, they got you young. You weren't considered a Mongol man until you owned 3 horses. Yeah. Again, they snuck up on people, though, according to most historians.
Yeah, what was I doing when I was 3? Like shoving crayons up my nose, and this guy's firing bow and arrows and riding horses.
It doesn't say that Kublai Khan wasn't also doing that. Maybe he was shooting crayons into his friends' noses.
Maybe.
From atop a horse.
But he was actually taught a lot of Confucius's teachings, and from a very young age he was always taught that there should be harmony in the family, order in the state, and peace in the empire. And from a very young age, he was cramming in that knowledge into little Kublai's head, that you will be smart boy, as well as strong. Yeah, so he was taught so not just to conquer, but also to respect the traditions of the countries that he conquered. So if he was to take over a country when he was older, he would have to understand and respect their traditions.
Yeah, which is a big thing in Mongol conquests.
Yeah.
Should I say subjugation of areas rather than eradication of areas? It's the idea that they didn't interfere with their subjugated people's cultures.
Often converted.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. 1236, so he's a little bit older now. Ogedei, his uncle, who was the Great Khan at the time, gave him his first lands. This was Hopei, the Hopei region. So this was northern China.
Yeah.
So at first, when he was given the Hopei region, he stayed in the Mongol homelands and just let his advisors in China rule it, basically, and look after it until he realized. Well, at the time,
until they lost it.
No,
it was just like, where's it gone? It was like we've lost the whole thing.
No, it was because
wandered off.
It's because there were poor farmers that were being heavily taxed because of what the decisions were, and he was like, nah, this needs to change. So he already started to reform. So he started to completely change things up. So he introduced welfare provisions, and essentially if someone could not pay the tax was relieved from them, and he would often, support them and stuff like that. So it was the whole idea was the fact that if you couldn't pay the tax, you wouldn't pay it until you got yourself back on your feet. And so that this boosted the economy and trade and things like that.
Oh, the Mongol economy and the Mongol kind of infrastructure efforts are incredible.
Yeah,
like so incredible. The people obviously only talk about the fact that they used to ride over people in carpets and burn cities to the ground. But like the invention of the Pony Express was the Mongols. They used to say that you could walk the entire length of the Mongol Empire with a gold plate on your head because it was so safe. Because nobody messed with the Mongols.
Yeah.
If you were a thief, you just got, that was it. So no one did it.
He was ruling over this part, and then essentially, so back in Karakum at the time, the Mongolian capital, the more traditional families distrusted him and his mum because he was raised with kind of Chinese teaching. He was ruling over parts of China, and they were becoming. They were said that they were becoming like the Chinese merchants who the Mongolians would rob. So it's just like, no, they're just more fixated on Chinese trading and things like that.
So just like, oi, what are you doing? All that bean counting. We rob fellas like you, and that's just Mongol culture.
Yeah.
That's just, no one's like, it's wrong to rob people. Don't know, that's what we do. It's a way of life.
When he ruled, he never ruled alone. He would often speak to a wide range of advisors. The whole idea is the fact that if he didn't know something, he wouldn't, try and pretend he did. He would just go wouldn't show his embarrassment. He wouldn't be embarrassed. He'd just be like, I don't know this. Can I speak to someone that knows more about this than me?
Yeah.
And
which is actually a trait that a lot of people need to pick up on.
Yeah.
I think.
He often also was advised by his wife, Chabi, who was his favourite wife.
Yeah.
They would often, so she would often advise him and have his advisors as well. And she was also noted as a really strong woman, very intelligent, and again honoured the fact that looking out for the people, how to be a humble emperor and things like that. Basically preparing him
for rulership
for 1260. Newsflash: Ogedei, 1251. Ogedei dies.
Yeah. He actually tried to forage some food out of a skip. Skip closed. No one found him. Starved to death.
Died.
Well, there's no food in the skip.
There was no food in the skip. It was actually a picture of a pizza box.
So Ogedei,
he was like, I see pizza box.
So Ogedei, his uncle died, and he actually gets passed to his older brother Monkey, who becomes Great Khan. Old Kubles.
Monkey.
Don't. When I was reading this, immediately I thought Johnny Vegas PG Tips was in my head, and then I was like, it can't be pronounced Monkey because it's Mongkay.
Monkey.
Yeah. Well, I looked it up and I was like, no, it is pronounced monkey. Put the kettle on, monkey.
Khan does not put kettle on. All right, monkey. Now, would
I
you,
am
watch
great
the, would, you,
leader.
would you watch the PG adverts if it cut and it's Johnny Vegas looking mildly intimidated and scared, leaning in for the kitchen like, do you want a cup of tea? And there's just a full Mongol Khan sitting in his room. He just nods at him aggressively, and he's like, "Okay, it's the 16th of the day. You are a tea bitch now."
Yeah, we wouldn't have it with milk as well.
No.
Weird.
Are you saying that's so Johnny Vegas shouldn't be alarmed? His life's pretty easy. Yeah, sure, he's under duress in his own home by a Mongol barbarian.
pay
but
for milk, though.
Just have to pay for milk, so that's fine.
But unless he,
Yeah.
well, I'm assuming he's drinking tea as well, so he would still need a
There's
bite.
none left. Monkey gets it.
Yeah. He comes in, counts the tea bags at the end of the day, and he counts it in his head. And you better hope they add up those numbers.
So Kublai's wealth massively rose because obviously his brother is OG Khan,
Yeah.
and he gets more land as well. But the thing is, at this time, obviously, he was kind of just given everything, so he
He didn't earn it.
no, he was like, oh, okay, well, now's my time. I need a show, and the thing is, obviously, with Mongolians showing itself, it's war.
Yeah.
So he needed to, he needed to show that he had the combatant ability.
So he walked right into Johnny Vegas's house, shot him right in the chops with a bow and arrow, and went,
And Monkey was like, he was my favorite
"Favorite
wife.
tea bitch."
Favorite wife.
And he's like, "I was trying to do the war." Yeah, to be fair, I don't.
This is favorite wife gave me no heirs.
All he gave me was tears and tea.
So Monkey wanted to finish off the campaigns that the previous Khans failed, which was taking over the Sung Empire.
Yeah.
So southern China. So they had northern China, but southern China was there, like flipping them off, like, nah, bitch,
Yeah.
come get me. It was like just teasing him. So
I don't think they were teasing. They weren't soliciting the next Mongol invasion. It wasn't like, "Oh, we're just going to take off all our armor and see what happens." Like, yeah. The better description would be like being the soldiers in the trench when you can hear the artillery barrage stopping and being like, "Oh, it's coming."
right, so the whole idea that he had was that they were going to do a pincer attack on the north and west. The big drawback with the west attack was the fact that there was a non-Chinese kingdom of Nanchang standing in between them, basically. So it's completely just other kingdom, like, hello.
Doesn't sound like a problem.
Yeah, to please don't attack us. So Kublai was directed to be the head of the army, and the whole idea was the fact that he needed to take Nanchao, which the capital was Tali, which was this fortified capital. So the problem with Tali was the fact that not only was it fortified, was the fact that also there were these three great rivers standing between them. And he also sent envoys of people basically sending messages to Tali saying, submit, and we won't invade.
We won't invade.
We won't invade.
Mongol thing.
And the people that were sent were forcefully asked to remove their heads from their necks.
Really?
Yeah, funny that. Yeah. So yeah, the
People have a really bad habit of Mongols turning up and going, "Do this," and then they chop their heads off.
Yeah, you'd forgive the first couple, but once word got around,
Yeah,
that chopping off the head of Mongol messengers gets you Timurided.
Yeah. Or
not Timurid.
Quasmarid. Or gets you, your entire army dead in a valley, and the Mongols are literally having a feast atop their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, so they were told to submit, and they didn't. I mean, I don't see why they just said, like, go back and just tell him, nah.
Yeah, so why have you got to chop the head? Like, again, it's the whole "don't shoot the messenger" thing.
Yeah, they literally cut the head off the messenger.
Yeah.
So
Cut the head off the messenger, the whole empire falls down, isn't that right? It's the head of the snake.
So Kublai was there like, okay, right, that's it, right. So he marched his troops. 2 months it took to get his forces. He was by the banks of the Yangtze River. But, fuck.
Big river.
No bridges. So he was like, oh shit, this is a problem. So on the other side of the river, the Tali army basically slept because they were comfortable in the fact that the Mongolians couldn't cross the river.
Why? Like, why all sleep at once? Why just be like, "All right, guys, let's bunker down, all go to bed"? Why? The Mongols are literally, a couple of meters away. Well, not meters because it's a big river,
It was
but
a very, very wide river.
yeah, but being like, the Mongols are just over there. Well, they can't get over. I'd like to see them try and do some shenanigans this night, and we'll go to sleep.
So, yeah, they do shenanigans. They make floating devices using sheep's skin to make basically buoyancy devices, which I, in my head, imagine like armbands, like a sheep's
For horses.
Yeah.
Horse floaties.
Yeah,
Okay.
just floating across the river, and in the dead of
I
night.
wouldn't want to put the armbands on the horse because obviously you just put them on his legs, then it would invert, and then all the important bit of the horse is underwater just drowns.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't. Of what I was looking up, but I couldn't actually find. Like, it just said made flotation devices out of sheepskin. So I was like, I mean, it didn't really explain. Like, was it like a massive inflatable bridge?
Like in the pool sometimes they put out that big
slide,
assault course slide thing. The Mongols have that.
Yeah,
made of pig skin.
That's how I imagine it.
So what? Just these Chinese guys are asleep, and then you can hear the bouncers. They're all coming down the slide.
They all get massacred. So it's the dead of night. It's a surprise attack, and they kill them all.
Yeah. It turns out the Mongols were up to shenanigans, and the "let's all go to sleep at once" idea was a bad plan.
Nearly always.
I feel like if you were
Sorry, I just wrote in my notes. I just wrote "surprise, motherfuckers." I don't know.
I feel like if you were a general leading an army or whatever rank, in authority of an army, and your enemy, even if they were down a 9,000-foot cliff, looking up at you aggressively, would you be like, "Oh, I'll risk it. We'll all go to bed"? I feel like there's no situation where you should just be like, I mean, it's like 1,000 to 1.
Maybe the commanders were like, "All right, guys, I know there's a big, seemingly impassable river between us and the Mongols here. But no one fucking slacks, right? We take watch." And obviously that goes down. The officers are like, "All right, guys, although the Mongols are across that impassable river, orders are regular watch, usual discipline." But then it gets down to the guy who's sleepy. He doesn't have the motivation of potential, like sword or arrow from the darkness.
But if he stayed awake, he would have seen the bouncy castle
and that would have been a sight to behold. But I think an important part of being on night watch is fear will keep you awake.
Yeah.
And obviously it's going, I don't believe they're going to cross the river. I'm going to catch just half an hour.
Yeah, and that half an hour was the moment that the Mongols made it through their own assault course. I don't know why they made it so difficult for themselves. I don't know why there was like big inflatable bats hitting them off.
You try to get a horse at the back on the slides.
Well, anyway, so
in the wet.
So guys, the army is the army outside the gates of Tali is killed.
Yeah.
Tali now has a new army outside the gates.
Backup army.
That's why they slept.
No. I'm referring to the Mongolian army.
Oh, right.
That's the army that's now outside the gates.
They're a backup on inside.
So
Greg the Wakeful.
So this is the part where Kublai then goes like, "Okay, try this again. Submit.
It was pretty nice as Mongols go.
I don't burn it down.
Submit, I don't burn it down, and you get to use my little inflatable slide."
It was actually a really, really important thing.
It smells like sheep, though.
Yeah.
It was a really important thing, the fact that he said that he wasn't going to burn it down, because this was the first city on the campaign that he took.
Yeah.
And it was Mongolian tradition to burn down the first city that you took on a campaign. So he said, "I'm not going to burn it down," and he actually honoured his word and didn't.
It makes more sense now, knowing that they cut the heads off the messengers. Because if you knew you were the first one, you'd be like, "Fuck it, we're done."
Yeah, you're going to kind of lug the rest of your empire into war because you're like, just because it's your head on the chopping block. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's a very interesting take on it. Was the fact that if you are the first one in the campaign, you're there like, well, it's going to be burnt down anyway.
This is why. That is answers the question. This is why people keep chopping off Mongol heads and sending them back to Mongols, knowing they're going to get quasmerited.
yeah, because they're like, we're going to have to team up now, guys. I imagine the leader of old Tar, what's the city called again?
Tali.
Tyler Al Ghul, yeah.
No, Tali's the city, but the whole province.
Oh,
China.
Nanchao.
Nanchao. Imagine like king, emperor,
It's like, I wish you hadn't done that.
he was sitting there and he's like, "Oh, Mongols came round the other day," and you're like looking at the governor of Tali, like, "And what did you do?" And he's like, "Chopped off their heads." And you're like, "You fucked us all." You know that. He's like, "Well, I was fucked anyway." So, if the Mongols had sent the envoy to the second city along, just bypassing Tali's opinion, there would have been peace.
Imagine Tali's surprise though.
Oh yeah, sup? What are you doing?
The thing is, if you
Strolling the gate, start lighting the thatch.
if you looked at it on a map, Nanchao wasn't actually that big. I would have just sent a messenger back just saying, "Just go around.
Just go around, please.
Go around. Or go through." But they just don't.
So said the Belgians.
Open borders, Civ.
Yeah, open borders. Yeah, but then you know what happens when you give open borders to people like the Mongols, who let's not like play world history like I play Civ, which is to just attack everybody regardless because you're in my way and I like my colour.
Back to Kublai. So he's happy. He's got Tali's there. He's there like, fucking did it, guys. Makes a new capital, you know, for poops and gigs. Not Tali. Back in Chinese, like build me another capital.
Serious?
Yeah, Shang-Tu. So
Wait, Shang-Tu.
yeah, Shang-Tu.
So it's Shanghai Shang-Tu. Come on, Kublai.
Well, he's got other names. Just wait.
Wait, was his first capital Shang 1? The Shang?
Yeah, just Shang, then the Shang-2, Shang-3, Shang Returned,
Right,
Shang
you
Reloaded.
You would never have Shang.
Another like video
You
game, just
wouldn't-
Shang again.
You wouldn't actually have Shang 4 because the Chinese don't like number 4.
Yeah, so it would get to the 4th, and it would
Well,
just
that's
reboot.
the thing.
Yeah.
He did make it in a Chinese style city, which obviously
Shanghai coming.
again making this the capital of his lands that were controlled
Shang Endgame.
was Shang-Tu and very Chinese. Again, not really making the Mongolians happy because they were just like
Didn't burn it. He made it all Chinese.
yeah, it's like a Wii but for the Chinese.
Okay, but can I just point out to these little fucking herdsman boys, how do you make a capital city? Well, bar Karakum, which was just a collection of tents. Make it. Why aren't you building it in a Mongol style? Because I want some infrastructure. I want to actually have a city. I
That's
don't
not
want to.
Mongolian tradition though. You shouldn't have a city.
No, you just bar Karakum,
Yes.
which is actually a big problem with which we'll talk about with the passing of the Khans, is that everybody has to go to Karakum.
Yeah.
So everybody of every importance goes all the way back to Karakum, and the whole
Yeah,
empire
like
just-
the Mongol conquest would stop because important guys are leading armies, and then the succession comes up, so they all hightail it back to Karakum.
Yeah.
Well, that might be this one.
Ah,
Yeah. Turns out the current Khan,
monkey.
Monkey, all teed out. Without Johnny Vegas to look after him, he
okay.
died of neglect.
So just before that, basically people back home aren't really liking him, and they don't like the way that he's the fact that he didn't burn the city down. Two, the fact that he's building cities and things like that, and they have him for treason. But luckily, because him and Monkey are brothers.
I'm just imagining the court case.
Monkey!
This lawyer standing up being like, there should be no cities, but because of him, there are 2 cities now. Traitor.
But so Monkey being his brother, he was like, no, look, Kublai's cool because again, I need him because he's actually pretty good at this whole war malarkey.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take
You've
some.
seen the
He's
slide.
got those caffeine come down headaches. Like I haven't had tea in ages. It's
Shut
gonna
up!
be a migraine.
Shut up about my brother! He's cool, alright?
Okay, so again,
We're going all the way to India to get that shit.
well, so the Sung conquest of trying to take it is still happening, and then they hit. There's 4 massive Mongolian rivers
Chinese
left of Shang-Tu, and they go, whew, it's very hot and humid here,
Let's all go to sleep.
Oh no! Like, it's a bit warm, and Monkey gets dysentery.
Oh dear.
Hot and humid, lots of disease. Now it was a severe case of dysentery, which actually resulted in him losing the ability to be alive.
So the way of saying that, and it appears your father has lost the ability to be alive.
I was, to be fair, good misdirection. I was expecting you to say shat himself paralysed.
Yeah, but no, lost the ability to be alive.
The great Kagan has accidentally shat out his spinal cord.
Yeah. So obviously the succession was to go on to his children. Unfortunately, he didn't have any. So
Very
Pose the
bearing in mind the
question.
legacy he's from. Was Genghis Khan like cashing in checks from his future descendants for really?
yeah, maybe.
He's taking out a loan.
Big question: Who be Khan?
Was that the name of the next one?
Yeah, who be Khan?
Kublai Khan.
The Sun campaign basically was abandoned by most people. Everyone, we need to go back to
Karakum.
Karakum.
Most, but not all.
No, because Kublai was very determined to try and get Sung.
Yeah.
Because he had done so much already. He was there like, I ain't going back.
I
Like,
thought you
he
were
was
gonna
like,
be
not yet. And basically all
I
the
thought you were going to be like everyone left and just one guy was like, guys?
Yeah, he was
having fun on
actually...
the bouncy castle.
Yeah, guys. Oh, there's a lot. They're coming this way.
So Kublai and his forces and his armies continue to press on, and everyone was meeting up discussing, who's going to be the great Khan, and there was turmoil in the capital because they were like, well, we don't want this Kublai guy because he's a bit Chinese. We don't want that. We want Mongolian. And his wife and his advisors were like, we need to tell him. So they messaged him. Send a messenger, being like, oh, your missus wants you back, and he's like, yeah, but give me a second. Like,
he gives her 2 blue ticks.
Yeah.
She's there like, your political destiny and future is in turmoil.
Scene.
I need you. Scene.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, but give me a second.
He sends one of those frantic texts, where you're clearly really busy, where it's all misspelt because you're in the middle of doing something like driving. So it's like, be there soon. Like, all fucked up.
Well, the thing is, he actually cut the supply line to parts of Sung, so the parts that he was capturing was really close to collapsing. So he was just wanting to press on.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And this carried on for, I think, 2 months. So this carried on,
in the terms of sieges, it's not the longest.
He carried this on for another 2 months, whilst like obviously every so often getting messages from his wife and his advisor saying, "Please come home." Seriously, there's some. They're going to put some guy
in called Hubi Khan. He seems pretty charismatic, although people are a bit confused on who he is.
Well, that's the Kublai keeps replying like, babes, I'm with the boys,
lads
on tour. Give us a minute, and then
why is it every campaign we ever talk about gets down to lads on tour?
Because that is, I think, just war. Yeah. War is really graphic.
You think lads' holidays to Ibiza, isn't it? Is the 21st century answer to crusades or taking China?
Now,
I feel like it's a similar kind of attitude sometimes.
I suppose
the way they treat Ibiza.
British Army recruits from a similar demographic.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have a problem. Youngest brother, because obviously he had 3 other. There was 4 of them in total. So he had 3 brothers. His monkey being the oldest, dead. His youngest, Arik Boke, he actually remained in the capital, and he was basically taught the old school Mongolian way. So he was very much for like traditionalist, fuck these
Tent's
capitals.
Good, building bad.
Yeah. Well, the thing, he wanted to go back to it being more like a state where the Mongolians would plunder and things like that, and they would be more seen as like outsiders and stuff like that. It wasn't like an actual empire. And people were like, yeah, that's a good idea. So finally,
people were wrong.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but quite a few people actually were on board. So
there's always reactionaries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people thought he would make a good Khan because it was more like the traditional Khans. So he got his little tick box of like to-do list, and he was like, create a secret council. Tick, like do a rebellion.
Tick.
Tick. Start doing this. What's really weird is the fact that even Monkey's wife and children,
Johnny Vegas, and whatever came out of that union.
Yeah, so his children basically were back in Arik saying like, yeah, this guy should be Khan. His children, his wives, and like some other people, they declared him to be Great Khan, which is obviously not how it works. But there was enough of them saying like, this guy is Great Khan.
Great Khan, great, got a chant going.
Yeah, so he then marched his army started moving his army to Chengdu and Chengdu as well.
Chengdu.
Yeah, that was his other city.
Can't just call it Chengdu again. Okay, Chengdu.
He then gets another letter from his wife saying like, no, seriously, dude, like shit's going down. Come back.
Yeah.
Because, your youngest brother is moving his armies onto your biggest cities, and then that's when he's like, fine, drops his toys, starts marching home.
The toys being what was left of independent China.
I don't like this one. All it says is "have mercy" whenever I pull its strings, and my tendons.
So he got back to his capital, and he basically said to his advisors what do. So they.
I thought you asked for what do.
He was like, what do? And what do brings him loads of princes. Because he's like, no.
I got him. You need princes, I got him in a van.
No, it was basically finding allies. And But the thing is, he's got lots of people to back him up. It's, like the majority vote. But there was one vote that really did swing it, which was actually his other brother. So Heligu, he's chilling in Persia.
He fucks up the Middle East, yeah.
Yeah, he's chilling in Persia, and he sends one of his fastest boys to send a message saying like, look, son, our youngest brother tries to cause shit. I got your back. And he's like, perfect. That's enough Mongolian.
Fuck
people.
all these princes. I've got an actual decent ally back in the van.
Yeah, but so he eventually gets declared as Great Khan because majority vote. But his brother was still on his way, so he grabs his army and marches them towards the other one, and they have a meet up of some tea and war, where his brother ultimately does surrender because they were completely outmaneuvered and outmanned.
Did he break his back? That's how Mongolians used to execute nobles. If you weren't noble, they would often boil you alive. If you were noble, they would basically pin your feet. Either put you in a kneeling position, put a big log on your feet, and then two guys would bend you over the back of the log, break your back.
It's nasty.
Yeah. But that was considered the honourable way to die.
Serious?
Yeah, that's Jamaica, who's obviously Genghis Khan's BFF and blood brother, was killed that way. Because Jamaica, to fair to Jamaica, when Genghis Khan beat Jamaica to win, becoming Great Khan the first time, he turned to Jamaica and he was like, look, you're my best friend, I'll forgive you. And Jamaica went, if you forgive me, I will rise up against you again. So just kill me. And he did. He was really straightforward about it. Genghis Khan's like, I don't want to kill you. And he's like, no, I disapprove of what you're doing. Because he was a real traditionalist. He's like, so just kill me, because I will rise up against you if you let me go. So Genghis Khan broke his back.
That's nice of him to tell him that.
It's pretty upfront about it.
Yeah.
So they have a big battle.
Yeah, so this was the 5th of May, 1260 was when he gets named Great Khan. He then moves his army, wartime, beats them, and he ends up, his brother then surrenders. Doesn't kill him, he just surrenders. And he's like, nice. Time for another capital. He's like, I'm celebrating.
He loves them.
Missing the point of there's
Capital.
usually only one, right?
Yeah.
So he builds Tartu.
He's a man of sequels.
Chengdu and Tartu.
Yeah.
The thing is that Tartu actually becomes modern day Beijing. So he was the... That was in 1260. So in 1266 that gets start building, but just before 1266. So this is meanwhile whilst he's like, all right, boys, these are the plans. Get to work. I'm going back to Sung. Going to try and take that again. So he moves all of his army back down, but he does try and take it more by wooing. So he
dresses up in his sexiest lingerie.
Well, he's like, ooh. No, he's like, look, guys, I'm not going to burn it down. He tries the diplomat approach of like, look, let's just unify China, guys. Under Mongolian flag, woo, and I won't, war. They say no. Because the thing is, he ends up taking quite a lot of it. He knocks out more supply lines. He takes more and more of Sung. But the thing is that what remains was there's two main cities as well as like their capital was still remaining. For the amount that he took, he also started his own dynasty. So that was the Yuan dynasty, because that was as much of that he had. And Yuan. In Chinese actually means origin of the universe. And the whole reason why he did this was the fact that he didn't want to name it something Mongolian because it makes all the Chinese people their upsetty spaghetti about having Mongolian name. So he wanted to do something Chinese, but the Chinese would often name dynasties after places. So that's why he went for the origin of the universe, which I think is a cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also quite smart to not piss off the people. So there's still two big places left to take. Well, kind of three. But you had Jingye and Tangzhen were the two cities. And then you had the capital, which was Hangzhou. Now with Hangzhou, it was very southeast. It was very southeast, and they had supply lines coming in from the sea.
Yeah.
So Kublai really had to go to work with coming up with an old plan there. So he was like, right, I need to learn a new type of combat. Naval. So he goes, right, let's do this, and builds the first Mongolian navy. And he ends up taking loads of the Sung ships and using them again for his navy, and builds that up and stops the supply line. Until the point where he pushes and pushes and pushes until the capital finally says, like, okay, fine, we submit to the Mongolian flag. At the time, the emperor the emperor of Sung was 4 years old, and it was mainly his advisors, his mother, looking after it. The royal family was a bit letting all these Mongolians in, so like, okay, right, we need to get him out of there. So the 4-year-old gets taken by. Well, he's last seen by on a boat with an admiral. Gets taken off, basically trying to escape. Kublai catches wind of this, and he says, "Okay, send some ships after them." They end up cornering him, the admiral, with the emperor, where the emperor takes the boy and says that the Sung emperor chooses death rather than imprisonment, and he jumps overboard with the boy, killing them both.
Really?
Yeah. And then, boom, there we go, guys. Unified China. He's got it all.
He's done it.
Yeah. And he
Build the largest continuous land empire the world's ever seen.
Yeah, but he did. The thing is, his actual ruling was very, very. He was very, very fair. As I said, like, I mean, that story was pretty much him just warring. But the thing, after he had taken Sung and unified China under a Mongolian flag, he then ruled it very fairly. He had, fair taxation. He had welfare regimes and things like that. He would have like backup food and stuff for the peasants if there was a bad harvest. He extended the Chinese Grand Canal, so communication and trade would be better. He boosted the economy tremendously.
That's the thing I love about Mongols, is the fact that so many of their leaders are such brutal warlords, but also so good at infrastructure.
Yeah,
and so much administration that goes on. You rarely see that combination.
He did a lot. I mean, just think about it. He at the time he had the most populous city in the world, and Beijing is.
He invented Jenga. I lied about that. But he could have.
You could have.
You put little wooden planks on a stick. You take it out. You put it on top. When you fall down, you die. Wait, what?
Yeah, but it just seemed crazy the fact that he completely changes gear. Like, after conquering all this land and ruling it all, he then just goes boom. And the thing is, he built this image of him, loving culture, loving the arts. He made it more profitable to be a trader and a merchant. So then, because it was at the time really looked down upon profession, and that's why no one really wanted to do it. But he really made it pay well. So then people wanted to do it, and that obviously more trade and better economy, because there was just more trade happening. And because he had the whole of the Sung Empire as well, he had a tremendous amount of wealth because of it. So it was just like boom, he was Papa OG. So that was in the 5th of May, 1260 was when Kublai Khan became the Great Khan.
From one great conqueror to another great conqueror, because my thing is on the 5th of May.
What? The
same day, nonetheless. 1821. Napoleon Bonaparte dies on Elba of stomach cancer. Suspected stomach cancer.
Different points in their careers, really. One great Khagan of the Mongol Empire. One
sad Frenchman on an island because he lost. His final words were reported, although disputed, were supposed to be he said, France, my son, my army. And he died. Some people also blame the wallpaper.
Yeah, it had arsenic.
Because it had arsenic. Or
I thought you were going like an Oscar Wilde.
No. He didn't. He wasn't an Oscar Wilde. But I want to take the time, because I haven't actually spoken about one of my favourite historical figures on the podcast yet. We talk about old Boney and what he was up to. I did some reading into his early life. So he was born on Corsica. He was Corsican. Yeah. His parents were actually rebelling against the French when his mum was 6 months pregnant with him when they lost, and they retreated. And all the Corsican rebels at this point were like, "We're going back into the mountains to keep the fight going." And Napoleon's dad went, "Yeah, nah, fuck that. Let's just give up." And he turned around to the French. He was like, "I want to be your friend." And the French were like, "Okay, you can be our friend." And he basically schmoozed with them and got put into power. And Napoleon came out the womb with a grudge about this, so it seems. Hated his dad for this. He hated his dad. He thought he was a traitor. His mum apparently raised him very strictly, very draconian, and he was reported to have said during his childhood that everything he learned in life he learned over his mother's knee. So, yeah. He went to school in France, where he was just a country bumpkin. He barely spoke French. Like, he went to school, and apparently the bullies tried bullying for a bit, but apparently because he just didn't respond, they just got bored. So there you go.
Oh, fair enough.
They just got like, hey, it's old fucking thick old country boy, Boney, and he just went, yeah. That's probably the only word he knew, and they were like, okay.
Oui.
Yeah.
It's a hell of it's a language barrier in bullying.
Yeah, there is real, isn't it? And so he then...
Not physical bullying.
He apparently just exuded a charisma from a young age. Got people to get on with him. People wanted to do stuff for him.
Apart from the bullies.
But they gave up. Even the bullies gave up. He was like, I'd like you to stop bullying me. And they're like, okay.
Is that his plan for the British later on?
Yeah.
I was going to war with Russia and ignore them.
Yeah. Yeah. And he then went to military school, where he was reportedly, people found him rather hard to work with. Military school.
Sounds like someone I know.
And then he was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to Corsica and I'm gonna liberate it. So he goes over to Corsica, and he gets into a dispute with the Corsicans, and the Corsicans are like, oh no, you're a dick, and they declare him a traitor
To Corsica.
They're like, he's a traitor. He's a complete traitor. To which Napoleon goes, fuck y'all, I'm French anyway, and leaves. So after all that, for his dad being like, you capitulate to the French, as soon as he encountered a roadblock, he was like, I'm French too.
I mean, it's only Corsica.
It is only Corsica. So he is now a captain, and this is a whistle-stop tour.
I just love the idea of, like, when you get out of university and you struggle to find a job.
Star War.
Yeah, he went back to Corsica and was like, oh, fuck, that didn't work.
Well, I mean, I'm not at that point yet, but I might try it.
Yeah. So he comes back to France, where he's a captain in the army. And Napoleon, when he was in military school, absolutely hated the fact that in the French army you had to be somebody to have a rank. That was
Pretty standard for armies at that
at the time. Yeah, it was obviously, you had to be a noble and had to pay commission, had to do all this. And Napoleon was obviously very, very good, as we can tell by his later career. But his parents had no money. They were an impoverished noble Corsican family. Everything he'd learned, it was by being spanked. He didn't. That's how he got discipline. He didn't have to pay for it like these French nobles did. He obviously wasn't happy with that, and then bam, French Revolution falls in his lap. All the when he comes back to France after Corsica, all the aristocracy, which obviously all these commissioned officers, have fled. Wonder why? They've all fled, so he became an artillery captain, and at the siege of Toulon, where he made his debut, he beat the English, burnt 10 of their ships in that battle.
But then they burn all of the French ships.
Yeah. But there's a lot of burning going on. But he won, because they fucked off. And in the battle, he actually led from the front. He took a bayonet to the leg, still led his men, and became so famous after the battle, they promoted him to Brigadier General.
It's a hell of a jump.
It's such a jump.
Captain
to Brigadier General. But may I add that they are also out of officers at this point.
And at war with all of Europe.
All of Europe, pretty much.
And themselves.
A little bit, in the Vendée region. Which is where most of the casualties of the French terror come from, not noble aristocracy. Peasants being massacred in the Vendée. He goes back and he gets appointed as the defender of Paris. And the mob is getting a bit uppity. So Napoleon comes with a really good idea. He's going to shoot them.
Yeah, grape shot.
And it works. And he apparently wrote a letter being like, they came at us and then we shot them. Now all is quiet. I am content.
There's some building, you just put cannon in it.
Yeah, and just surrounded with cannons. Was like, coup in mob! And they were like, let's get them! And they just blasted, the equivalent of cannon shotguns at them. And they were like, that was a bad idea. Those guys are packing.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? So for this, he gets promoted to General of the Interior.
Fair enough.
So he's 26. He's 26 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you rise fast when there's nearly no one above you.
Yeah, but the only person, the person who was beforehand was Minister of the Interior was a cat. And they were like, well, it was in the room for several of the general's meetings. So
yeah, it jumped on the desk.
Yeah, so it probably is the most qualified we've got left.
I saw it pushing around some pieces on the wall.
Yeah, off the table. What does that mean? Invasion by sea. We'll go round.
Oh no! It just picks up the whole map like in Stranger Things into the other realm.
And apparently all the generals that were still in their positions were like, well, who is this fucking dipshit? Oh, he takes one city, he shoots a couple of peasants. Who does he think he is? And when he went round, he was put in command of essentially the disastrous campaign that they were currently fighting, where they were bogged down in the Alps. And the men were just like, some of them had lost their shoes. Yeah, this was the French Grand Army was in complete disarray at this point.
Neither grand nor really an army.
Not really an army. It was just a bunch of people who had been conscripted and told, "You'll find the shoes."
Take them off the Italians or the Austrians.
Yeah, and then when they keep running away with their shoes,
or shooting us to keep them.
yeah, they're really keen to not,
Imagine that being
not give them
a
over.
musket line. Give us your shoes. Fuck off.
Take off my dead body.
But they lost their shoes?
No, they were so badly
It
supplied.
was really poorly supplied.
Oh, okay.
They just didn't
okay.
have shit. It wasn't like some guy was
I was thinking that somebody fell asleep and just woke up and like the army had just taken their shoes.
yeah, cheers for the shoes, love Louis. But the point is that they were so badly supplied, and all these generals were like, "Oh, let's see you do better."
Yeah,
and
cross the Alps, take Italy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Napoleon did. But he also gave a big speech to his men, where he said, over those mountains are some of the most fertile regions in the whole world, like, what, let's go take them. And the men were like, that sounds like a solid plan. These guys were just telling us to kind of mill around and look for shoes. And he takes Italy, sets up a load of...
Fertile land, shoes grow out of the floor.
The Italians, they make shoes for fun.
Marengo, isn't it? Is in that Italian camp.
Yeah, the Battle of Marengo. And he goes
Named
over,
after chicken casserole.
yeah, and he actually it was actually the Italian general he was up against was a chicken casserole.
In a shoe.
No, but in all seriousness,
Yeah, it was the Austrians,
The dish chicken Marengo was what was cooked for him after he won the Battle of Marengo.
Wait,
Was it?
It was an ostrich casserole.
No, the Austrians were the ones actually fighting in Italy. Like, bearing in mind at this point, Italy is just vassal states.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Venezia belongs to Austria.
Yeah.
And and several of the dukes of Middle Italy are related to Austrians.
Yeah. It is.
And
Are you telling me that Italy hasn't been Italy for that long? Who would have thunked it?
to be fair, Italy was declared slightly before Germany. So.
Yeah. But
Germans did it all in one go. Technically, the Italians didn't get like Venice until 1870. So Rome.
Napoleon actually, after this campaign, made a name for himself doing what he would always do, which is not telling anybody and setting up sister republics and puppet states without any authority.
Yeah, the Cisalpine Republic. And,
he just sets up republics. He's like, okay, they're now free as well. And he goes back to France and he finds out that there's complete political turmoil. And he's obviously a war hero at this point. So he goes, I have a really good idea. Let's set up the fact that we get ruled by 3 consuls. We'll rule fairly and impartially. And one of them will be me. And he's the only person with any political clout really left at this point because the French have been so busy purging one another in his absence. And he rules for roughly 4 years as that. And then he crowns himself Emperor of France. He does away with the whole council of 3 consuls and just says, I'm the Emperor. And he invites the Pope to crown him Emperor of France.
Oh, yes.
And then as the Pope gives him the crown, he snatches out his hand and says, I crown myself.
And then he upgrades from declaring sister republics to declaring his own relatives king of places.
Yes, like Spain.
Which we discussed recently.
I did discuss recently, yeah, with the I can't remember.
Is in relation
Was the Pedros?
Yeah,
Pedros,
why Portugal's in Brazil.
And then he obviously goes on a year after being crowned to defeat the combined Russian and Austrian forces at Austerlitz, which is his greatest victory. He essentially, by this point, Europe has become terrified by the idea that democracy is going to spread. Ironic, I know. To other monarchies. And they've all decided that it's best to just nip this whole French experiment in the bud and take them out. And Napoleon
French
says...
experiment.
Yeah. And Napoleon says, okay, Russia and Austria team up, as they were not all shifting around all the allegiances. They fight at Austerlitz. Napoleon kicks the absolute snot out of them at Austerlitz, forces the Austrians to surrender, and dismember the entire Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, so was it Franz II Holy Roman Empire becomes Franz I of Austria.
Yeah. Has to dismantle the Holy Roman Empire because Napoleon's like, I'll shoot more of you. And then Prussia gets involved, and Prussia loses.
Yeah.
Loses.
Berlin does not burn.
No. And then he decides... Britain at this point, by the way, has pretty much annihilated the French Navy. But the British, being so good sporting chaps in this whole war, are like, well, they can't
Left
touch
Europe
us.
to it, yeah.
So we're going to stay on our island. That's what they did. And then it's actually Russia.
It's like, Britain, you win the coalition. Yes. You're going to do anything.
Well, no. We've secured our interests. Job done, boys.
Yeah,
Pop the champagne. Or should I say, the brandy, because they'll bone it rather. rather than mything everyone off at the moment.
Keeping it all to himself, the greediest swine.
Yeah.
Tell you what, in order to get it back, we shall land in Portugal.
Yes.
Secure the port first,
Yes.
because port is made from Portuguese.
Yeah.
And Madeira in Spain. No, Madeira is also in Portugal. Portugal and the fortified wines, man.
Napoleon decides that he's going to invade Russia, and this goes badly.
When does he decide this? Was he just like in the bath?
He's in the bath. He's sitting there in the bath.
Russia.
He's playing with his boats, because obviously his boats have all been destroyed, so that's all his navy he's got, and he's like bobbing around, and he goes, "Oh, I should attack Russia. There's no boats involved," and he just runs out of the bath, bollock naked, all the way to his guys in the war room, kicks the door open and slaps his little winky on the table, and goes, "Put this in Russia," and runs off again. He's like, "I'm off to finish my bath." He's been chased by his obvious attendants who are like, "You're leaving suds all over the royal palace."
Imperial Palace now.
Yeah, Imperial Palace. Comes back. His little wet feet slapping on the floor.
Still being chased.
It's like, thank God it's carpeted, otherwise we'd be slipping and sliding all over the stone flags and the wooden boards.
Maybe he's doing that whole thing you do in supermarkets with a slide.
Yeah.
He's got socks on the floor. He's doing that with his wet feet seas. And obviously he runs out of juice just to get to the war table because his feet are now dry. So he stops just to say dink on table. Invade Russia. And goes off. But he invades Russia and it goes very badly for Napoleon because the Russians...
didn't put any clothes on. He still suds up.
But to be fair, his men might as well not because they start freezing to death. Problem is that the Russians have a really unsporting way of burning their own stuff so no one else can have it because they're rather spoil sports like that, including abandoning Moscow. So Napoleon gets all the way in and then he has to retreat because his men are oversupplied and freezing to death, and 1 in 6 men who went on that campaign returns.
He took a fair few with him.
Mm-hmm. So that is what breaks Napoleon, really, that moment.
What does that mean? British?
To be fair, he does try and invade Ireland a little bit. He does launch and invade. The French beforehand tried to invade Fishguard. I told you about that. And a Welsh woman with a broom essentially dissuaded them. Because they were blown off course. They were all over the place. They all get out. This Welsh woman was like, "Fuck off," with a broom. And the French were like, "You know what? Fuck it," and left. So that was the last land-based invasion of Britain, by the way.
I was also thinking that maybe it wasn't just that one Welsh woman. Maybe it was the fact that they looked behind the Welsh woman and saw nothing.
Yeah.
It's like a town.
What is this place?
Just one town.
You live here by choice?
It's like 2 houses.
Yeah. And that it didn't go right. So obviously the coalition is now sensing weakness. Blood in the water invades from every angle to take down Napoleon.
Portugal, Spain, into France.
Napoleon is forced to abdicate by his generals because they're like, there will be no France if you stay in power, and he abdicates.
The Russians are in Versailles.
Yeah. He abdicates, gets put on the island of St. Helena in Italy under British guard, and
isn't he allowed to take? He takes 100 men with him.
Yeah.
From the old guard.
Yeah.
I just love the idea. It's like, no, you're going to be banished here. It's like, can I bring some people? And they're like, no, we're happy. Like, we don't want to go with you, Napoleon. Like, no, come on, guys.
100 guys in exile with me. But
their moustaches were part of their uniform.
Yeah.
That's why you see whenever you see the old guard, they've all
They're connected. You take off their shirt, moustache goes with it.
The power was in the moustache.
I thought you meant the guardsmen were connected by their moustaches. They just
tied them all together. March in line. Oh god, this is uncomfortable. Especially when he gets shot and goes down.
It was the fact you said the moustache was part of their uniform. It's like held up by strings. And like they did, like Napoleon actually
they take off that. They take off the hat.
The hat and their beard just goes with it. It's just dangling by strings.
It's like some baby faced looking guys. Ha!
Well, back in when the old guard first formed and French were having to make do and mend because obviously on the back foot they were their uniform did include the Groucho Marx disguise kit.
Yeah.
All these guardsmen walking in with the false nose and the glasses.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna sneak the old guard into Spain, and they're all wearing those moustaches. Like, who are you guys? But essentially, he goes to St. Helena, and everyone goes. And he was, by the way, he was branded as the destroyer of the tranquility of the world, which I feel like pretty good title. If you are going to go war mode, try and attribute yourself the destroyer of the tranquility of the world. Because I'm sure at this exact moment, the Galapagos Islands were just like, you got to stop Napoleon. He's fucked everything.
Peru's there, like, he's coming.
He's coming. Everything's messed up because of Napoleon. But anyway.
The British, of course, were worried he would invade India.
Yeah, they were.
Which is Yeah, to be fair,
So
why
he
went
did
to
try in
Egypt? Yeah, he did go to
Egypt. So that's why they got spooked.
But I'm just saying, like, as soon as Britain gets its foot in India, it's perpetually worried that someone is going to take it off them, whether it be the Indians or the French or the Russians. I don't think they ever worried about the Germans.
World War One, maybe.
It
might have crossed some old King George V's fever dreams at some point.
Maybe they were like,
Willie in India, he's taking it all.
I mean, maybe they were.
Sire has filled the royal chamber pot again to the brim. Die, bigger one.
I guess maybe they're like, if they get any kind of empire, the next step is India.
Yeah,
Obviously, then the Japanese.
India. Yeah,
Then never saw it coming. The Americans.
yeah. Old war dead. Killed the dream.
But of course, lest we forget, as the Crown has taught us,
Mountbatten.
yeah, Mountbatten gave it away.
Yeah, despite being put into the position of power only to make sure the smooth transition of free Indian rule happened.
Having been decided on, during the viceroyship of Wavell, I believe.
Yeah. But no, it's his fault because the Crown writer, again, has an OBE so far up his arse it affects his thinking. So yeah, and anyway, Napoleon then...
Queen loves the Crown, of course she would. I'm sure she'd love to have India back.
Yeah. So Napoleon goes on to St. Helena. He's good for 10 months, and then he just hops on a boat, which someone gave him. I mean, I've never looked at the specifics of how he got off the island. Him and his 100 boys just disappeared one day.
There's an inflatable on
In a inflatable
Sheepskins.
inflatable dinghy. They all blew up, and they all like crammed on it. Imagine 100 people on a kayak. Like, but yeah, the thing is, the British had naval ships making sure he didn't get off the island. He avoided them because they didn't suspect rubber dinghy. No, and he got to France with his 100 men. King Louis XVII, who was the brother of King Louis XVI, who had lost.
No, I
his
think
head.
he's technically the 18th.
18th.
The missing.
Yeah, is his son. Is Louis XVI's son. Louis XVIII, who is the brother of the king who was killed and started off the French Revolution, or should I say, killed midway through the French Revolution as part of it, which he started. May I add?
Yeah, it's like National Assembly.
Yeah, by trusting the Swiss with his money. To be honest, blame the Swiss. Blame the Swiss.
Whenever the Swiss get hold of a country's money,
Yeah.
either
Jacques Necker needs to be accountable because he basically came up with a brilliant idea, which is the fact he found out the French were bankrupt after the whole War of Independence, 7 Years War malarkey, the double barrel bill of that, and went, I've got a really good idea. We just lie.
we say we're not broke. Yeah.
We just write not broke on all the paper. That will work. Anyway, I'm going to go retire now at the exact moment before we're forced to open our books to the public. Bye! Rolled out the window, and then obviously they're like, you are more broke than you said! Considerably!
And the Swiss will continue this grand tradition of lying about money and its various details.
Present day.
Yeah.
Like,
Any Nazi gold in those banks? No.
none to speak of. That's an odd way of saying it. Shh. None to speak of. So anyway, Napoleon returns from St. Helena with 100 guys. Louis XVIII is like, can somebody stop him? Go and shoot him or something.
And he entrusts the job to Napoleon's ex-BFF,
Yeah.
Marshal Ney.
Marshal Ney rides up to Napoleon and says, hello there. And Napoleon walks in front of the gun line when all the guys are lined up to shoot him and says, shoot your king, shoot your emperor if you wish. And the men refused to join his side. Marshal Ney joined his side. Full-blown rebellion. In
the movie Waterloo, that is a really cool scene.
That is a really cool scene. But
Really cool
it did actually happen. And the best thing is Napoleon did that to the First Army. What they don't show you in the film Waterloo is he then did that 2 more times.
Yeah, because obviously they've still got marshals with armies.
Yeah, who would turn up to him and Napoleon would be like, I'm going to try again. Roll the old D100. Walk in from the men. Shoot me then. And they were like, we don't want to. And he's like, cool, join me. And they would. And he did it 3 times. I mean, the first time, if you pull that off, you'd be like, I'm never doing that again.
See, old Suds McGee, tiny winky, massive balls.
Massive balls. Like
Suds McGee.
Come on, boys. Who else would you play slip and slide with the Imperial Palace? Who else would you chase around so merrily? All sudded up. So anyway, he ends up taking back France. And the coalition reforms and declares war on only Napoleon. Yeah, and then obviously
the country of Napoleon.
Yeah. Which is a line from the film, which is actually true, which is the fact that his marshal said to him when they found out they got the declaration of war, they said, they honour you, sire, they call you a nation.
Yeah.
And then he scooted off to Belgium and lost at Waterloo. And then this
fair, no one ever talks. Well, to be fair, the film does, but he beats the Prussian army soundly.
Yeah.
And the Brits too.
Yeah. And then it's just the fact they combine their forces to make some mechazoid army and beat Napoleon.
Despite having 30,000 men and 2 French marshals chasing them out of Belgium.
Yeah. And also, the fact that they were on a big hill in Wellington.
Yeah.
The Battle of Waterloo is a completely different kettle of fish. But the point is, Napoleon loses, goes back, abdicates again. And this time they put him on Elba, which is an island in the middle of the Atlantic off the coast of Africa, which is just a rock. And they say, die here, please. And die there he does at the age of 51.
6 years after Waterloo.
Yeah. On May the 5th. He said, to die is nothing, to live without glory is far worse. So anyway, thus ends Napoleon.
And with it, today...
In history.
In history.
So 2 angry boys who like beating up other people.
Who would win in a fight? Kublai Khan or Napoleon?
Probably
I
the
think
one who
Kublai Khan.
actually fought from horseback and not the
Yeah.
guy who's just had a good thonk.
Yeah. So now we're done with today in history, and Saul has brought a new organism from beyond the very
Oh, it's
void.
my turn. So famous facts is not happening because
The
Valiant
famous
Leader-
fact here is not here.
No, well, to be fair, it usually this would be who let them near a keyboard, but we've had to rejig because there's only the 3 of us. So Saul, you have a game for us. What is this game? Explain the rules. Why will I win?
I don't know where I got the idea of doing this, but I just
Oh,
thought,
thank God you said that, Saul, because I thought you were going to be like, I don't know how to play this. Like, you sounded so unconfident. I made up a new game. The rules are unclear.
Well, no,
Do you think the problem is Saul wrote down the rules?
No, it's not.
Now
it's,
they're a
it's-
mystery to everyone.
Look, guys, it's not a game that I've come up with rules for. It's a simple quiz game,
Okay.
but all of these are A-level and GCSE.
So you want to embarrass us on a
No.
public level? You want to show that we're not as smart as we think we are?
No, I would
did
never
my
do
A-levels.
that.
Pardon?
I never did my A-levels.
Really?
I went to university, of course I
I
did
don't
my
know.
A-levels.
Maybe you suck someone off. I don't know, Joan. I don't know your sorry past.
You know my gob jobs aren't that good.
Okay, good point. Good point. But type back purse. Someone in
But they go across all the different subjects.
Okay, cool. So
Well, I mean,
James and Joanna resit their GCSEs.
let's see. Let's GCSE who's gonna win. So this is a new segment that we're never gonna play again.
it's called
Unless Val goes to
Let's
Kathmandu again.
GCSE. Who wins?
With you and me.
With you and me. Let's GCSE with you and me. The friends
Yeah.
are all against.
To be fair, for a segment we're never going to play again, it's the first one to get a theme song of sorts.
Right.
Yeah.
English language. Identify the verb in the sentence.
Ugh.
Amazingly, he finished the hot dog in 15 seconds.
Finished.
Yeah.
Finished.
The answer is finished. See? Not that bad, guys.
I only know verbs.
I copied your answer.
Did you?
My brain got distracted by the adverb.
Okay, guys, let's go for maths. English maths. An ordinary fair six-sided dice is rolled 420 times. How many times is the number 3 expected?
70.
Yeah, 'cause
Yes.
it's 7.
It is 70. Biology. The pulmonary artery takes blood to where?
Lungs.
Sure.
If Jonah says sure like that, count that as a nil point.
To the lungs.
Jonah. What is the result of heating copper carbonate?
Fuck do I know. Oh, isn't it copper oxide and CO2?
Bubbles.
It is copper oxide. For James.
It bubbles.
Let's go for physics.
Shit.
It's basically fancy maths, it'll be alright.
Fancy message.
Energy can be transferred through some materials by convection. Complete the sentence. Energy cannot be transferred by convection through a...
I think I actually know this.
One eternity later.
I know what it is. I just can't think of the
I'm
word.
going to run out of time. 5, 4,
I can't think of the
3,
word.
2, 1.
Solid.
Yes. The answer is solid.
What word were you going for? Were you reaching for solid? Did you say matter?
Yeah, I was saying, but the word block was in my head. I blanked completely on the word solid.
Jonah,
Yeah.
name the 3 functions used in trigonometry.
Oh, what? Sine, cosine, and tan?
Fuck, I knew that one. And you solid as well, man. I just forgot it.
James, calcium hydroxide is produced when calcium oxide reacts with...
Hydrogen? Water.
Ooh, I will allow that because you did.
Water,
It is
sorry.
water. You did correct it. Jonah.
Mm-hmm.
Compounds formed when non-metals react with metals consist of particles called...
When non-metals react with metals.
Yes.
It's to do with the manner of their bonding. Covalent?
No.
James is the perfect fucking clue face.
Ionized?
Close. It's ions.
Can't I even do chemistry at GCSE?
It's the thing, you just don't work out that brain, do you?
So Jonas got 2 wrong. James.
Yeah, I'm going to get some wrong, don't worry. Sympathy.
By what name are the group 1 metals in the periodic table known?
Like, I think it's wrong out of sympathy.
Oh yeah, I'm sympathetic to how you feel when
Okay.
you didn't know the answer, because I also... The group 1... It's like... 1 second. Stop. Is it the alkali metals?
Yes.
Fair play.
It was the alkali metals.
I'm so happy I remembered that. I was going to say the noble metals.
That's noble gas.
The noble gases, but yeah.
Yeah.
Alkali metals. Oh.
Jonah.
Uh-huh.
What is the name of the junction between 2 neurons?
Synapse?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
James, sticking with biology. What is the scientific name for sex cells, such as egg cells and sperm cells?
Gonads.
Really close. Gametes. Okay, we're moving to geography. We've got having quite a lot of. We'll finish off with just a couple of geography questions. So, Jonah, which sedimentary rock is largely formed by the remains of dead sea creatures?
Limestone.
Ding ding ding.
What was that noise?
I was being like, yeah, limestone. Like,
The most petulant noise
I was
I've
like,
heard
oh, in
you
my
make
head,
yet.
because I know he's going to give you limestone. He's going to turn around and be like, where, oh, where is Wally on this map?
Tuvalu,
James.
mate. Always Tuvalu.
Yeah.
What is the name of the process by which rocks become frozen to a glacier and are picked up from the base/sides of the glacier valley?
You see what I fucking mean? You get limestone and I get how do fucking glaciers bump uglies with planet Earth?
I mean,
Erosion.
He won't thank you.
no, it is plucking.
Plucking.
Yeah.
Pluck you, Saul.
So
How about that one?
Both of you have 2 wrong.
Yay. This whole thing will end in a draw? Seems entirely appropriate.
It does, doesn't it?
Jonah, which of the following is not a type of river erosion? Hydraulic action, percolation, or solution?
Percolation. Is that not what you do to coffee? So you can...
Percolation refers to filtration of water through soil or permeable rock. So, and also coffee.
Through paper.
Well done. Hold my question, which will now be...
How to calculate the energy of
What are these?
solar
James.
rays.
Yeah.
A wide river channel is formed at the source of the river or the mouth of the river.
Mouth.
Correct.
Because they get
Why?
wider. Chunky.
Jonah,
Yeah.
areas which are growing most quickly from tourism are Asia and the Middle East, Europe, Australia and New Zealand.
Tourism. That's a puzzler. Asia and the Middle East.
Ding ding ding.
I mouthed that to Saul, so I knew it before you. Because Dubai, that's what I was thinking of.
James, what is the name of the largest desert?
Sahara.
Correct.
Yeah, desert.
Energy released by an earthquake is in the form of
Ouchies.
Seismic.
seismic waves. So,
I'm the smartest 10-year-old in the room.
hey, GCSEs are for 15 and 16-year-olds.
I'm the smartest 15 and 16-year-old in the room.
So there, guys. So that was the end of Let's GCSE. Who's gonna win, or whatever it's gonna be. Never repeated, and it doesn't matter what its name is. Name it at home, and we might repeat that round.
So
We probably
email your
won't.
name suggestions to shiftyfans@gmail.com. The competition is now closed. It's too late. It's already...
The winner is we're never playing that game again.
Okay.
So moving on.
Moving
to
on.
Conspiracy to piracy cons.
No piracy cons today.
Because Val is still not here.
Because Val is still not here, as you probably all are still lamenting.
I miss her.
Yes, but I've decided I've got a new segment, because Saul can't innovate without me.
I just did. We did a GCSE question.
Yeah,
round.
well, I'm innovating right behind you, and beddery. All beddery than you. So, I'm going to do a thing called Mighty Myths. And I decided, because I've been listening and reading and doing loads of stuff on Greek mythology, I was going to make it your problem. So in this game, I'm going to present you with 10 Greek deities, well-known deities as well, not obscure ones. I've gathered together a load of facts and trivia you may not know about them. It is your job to align the fact with the deity. So the deities are, in alphabetical order, we have Aphrodite,
Okay.
the goddess of love and beauty.
Yes.
So she's our first goddess. Apollo, god of the sun, light, truth, and music, and also healing.
I know why you're listing all this stuff now.
We have Ares, god of war. We have Athena, goddess of wisdom, weaving, crafts, and winning wars. And war. Hades, god of the underworld. Hephaestus, god of the forge and fire. Hera, queen of the heavens, goddess of women and marriage. Hermes, god of trade, heraldry, merchants, commerce, roads, thieves, trickery, sports, travellers, athletes, the maintaining and disruption of boundaries, shepherds, cattlemen,
Crossroads as well, isn't it?
crossroads,
Yeah.
and the
Dicks.
conductor of the dead. So he's the one who takes them to the
I thought
underworld.
it also has something phallic about him.
He's a very young nubile boy. Poseidon, god of the sea and horses.
And seahorses.
No, that's someone else's job. He doesn't. He never mixes those two boxes of his life. And finally, Zeus, lord of the sky, gods, thunder, rain, and clouds.
And seahorses. It's his job.
Yeah. So
Only because he wants fucked woman as a seahorse.
the first. So we'll bounce between the two of you. You can go first, then Jonah, and then Jonah, then Saul, back and forth. Even Stevens, because there's even number of things.
So what, we answer 5 each, or
5 each. You'll go first on each.
5 each.
So,
Okay.
Saul, the first one for you to go first is this deity cursed a woman who rejected them by spitting in their mouth.
Zeus?
Zeus, says Saul. Jonah.
I can imagine him being quite resentful if someone rejected him, seeing as he did often like to fuck mortals.
I should say Apollo.
Apollo.
Is it like Famous Facts? We only find out at the end.
Yeah, you only find out at the end. So, just so you know, you're down to Zeus, you're down on Apollo. This god had their tendons ripped out and their power stripped whilst fighting a monster. Jonah, you're first.
Tendons ripped out.
Yeah.
Ares?
Ares.
Seems a fighty type.
But I might go for Athena.
Athena.
Don't know why.
Okay. Next god. The fact. This god is the father of Eros, also known as Cupid in Roman mythology. So who is Eros' dad?
I was going to go for Apollo.
Apollo, says Saul.
Oh, wait, no, because, wait.
Hephaestus?
Hephaestus.
Oh, shit, it might be Hermes. I'm just trying to think because Apollo didn't make his. He was given it to his lyre. It wasn't. He didn't make it. He was given it.
So you've said Apollo.
Yeah, but I think it's Hermes. Fuck.
Next one. This god lost a contest for the patronage of Athens to Athena.
Oh. It was me 1st.
Mhm.
Poseidon.
Yeah.
Saul?
Yeah, Poseidon.
Next one.
It was Poseidon.
This god killed a giant tortoise and made a lyre out of its entrails on
Fuck!
the day it was born.
And then Hermes then, because I've just fucked up 2 answers. That is, yeah, Apollo did make it. That, and then he killed a giant snake, and then built his own temple, like all when he was a baby.
I'm going to say Hermes as well, out of solidarity.
Hermes.
Fuck, it is Apollo. Because yeah, he was twinned with Artemis.
This god fell in love with a mortal the moment they were born. The mortal. So as a baby. Jonah.
Zeus.
Shit. Hephaestus.
Hephaestus.
I'm going to say Hephaestus then.
This god was also the god of wealth and fertile soil.
Hades.
Something's nagging me. Fuck, I'll go Hades as well.
Hades as well.
So I think it's someone else that I've said. I hate this game because I can't repeat answers.
This deity killed their best friend during a childhood spar and felt so guilty that they took their name.
Have I already said Ares?
So you still have Ares.
I'm going to say Ares.
I think I only have goddesses left.
Yeah, you have done Apollo, Ares, Hephaestus, Poseidon, Hermes, Zeus, and Hades, which leaves you with Athena, Aphrodite, Hera.
Athena's the only fighty one there, I'll say Athena.
This god blackmailed their way into the pantheon by holding another god hostage.
Hera?
Hera?
I think that was Hades though.
Sounds like something he would do. Solidarity with Saul, I should also say Hera.
Solidarity, boys, gets you nowhere.
But we didn't have...
Final one.
Who was
This
that
god
headache of Zeus?
threw the infant Hercules to the ground when he pierced
Fuck's
her nipple
sake!
as she weaned him.
Hera. But Aphrodite is the one that I have left.
See, I left that one to last because I was really hoping one of you had been left with a man. I was really hoping you'd be left with Zeus or something.
How hard could a weeding be?
Oh, my teeth!
Alright, so which ones did we... Well,
It's
so
not
many of those
fair.
were wrong.
The thing is, we got them wrong, but we knew them.
So let's...
Oh, you knew them.
No, so you were so confidently wrong on not both your answer at times, but also the one you knew it was, even though you couldn't say it. So the
Was
first...
the turtle one? Oh, that was Hermes.
That was Hermes.
It's because I always get Apollo and Hermes confused.
So, the first thing, as we said...
Oh wait, so that means I was
This
right.
deity cursed a woman who rejected them by spitting in their mouth. The correct answer is Apollo. So
Cool.
Jonah gets a point.
Wasn't she...
woman-
She was in Troy.
Yes, Cassandra of Troy.
Ah.
Apollo wanted to woo her, so he offered her the gift of prophecy. She
Yes.
took the gift,
And
then
then-
she said, "No, I don't fancy you." And Apollo spat in her mouth, tainting the gift, so that no one would believe any of her totally accurate prophecies and thought she was a mad woman.
Yeah.
So she prophesied the downfall of Troy, Helen bringing doom,
Yeah.
the Trojan horse, all of it. And because she said it, the Trojans didn't do it. So that is Apollo spitting in her mouth.
Yeah. I remember
The
that.
next, this god had their tendons ripped out and their power stripped whilst fighting a monster. The correct answer was Zeus. When Zeus first fought the Typhon, the father of all monsters and big bad guy of Greek mythology at first, the Typhon ripped out all his tendons and left him powerless. The other gods had to collect them, put them back in to restore Zeus's power. Zeus then threw Mount Olympus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no points
I've
there.
heard the Mount Olympus, but I couldn't remember him having tendons ripped out.
Yeah. This god is the father of Eros, Cupid. Someone was saying, should have said Ares. Should have said Ares.
Yeah,
Ares
obviously
and
it's
Aphrodite.
child of Aphrodite.
Yep.
Obviously, Aphrodite has sex with Ares more than her actual husband, Hephaestus.
Yeah. So, yep, Aphrodite and Ares fathered Eros. This god lost a contest for the patronage of Athens to Athena. It is 100% Poseidon, as you both said. It was Poseidon who lost that.
Yeah, you got one right.
I think Athena gave him an olive tree, and that's
Oh
why.
no, you've got two
Yeah.
right.
So, this god killed a giant tortoise and made a lyre out of its entrails the day he was born. It was Hermes, as you both said, in solidarity.
Yeah. Well,
it was.
thinking it was Apollo when it wasn't.
No, but
that's
it was
the-
Hermes.
It was, yeah,
Hermes, the day he was born...
it was Apollo that killed the snake on
Yeah.
the day he was born.
The
but
day he was
Her-
born, Hermes escaped his mother's swaddles, ran off, stole all of Apollo's cattle, came back, killed a tortoise, and...
Oh, he gave him the lyre by way of apology.
Yeah. That's. I was thinking of it the other. Basically, I got in my head. I literally swapped their names around. Is what I was thinking.
So, this god fell in love with a mortal the moment they were born. Love should have given it away because it was Aphrodite. She fell in love with Adonis the moment she saw him as a baby.
Word.
She literally looked at that baby and went, "I will fuck that when that fruit ripens."
In my head, it was either Zeus or...
Festus is what you said, but
Yeah, that's because...
yeah, Festus was the only one left. Well, you felt.
Fuck, I know that story.
Yeah. Hades was also the god of wealth and fertile soil. So
Yeah.
you both got that right. He was the god because he controlled the underworld, so under the earth and all the minerals and stuff.
And I was actually married to Spring.
Yes, so he was also the god of fertile soil. This deity killed their best friend during a childhood spa and felt so guilty they took their name. It was Athena. She was known as Pallas Athena. Pallas being P-A-L-L-A-S.
You said Athena.
I did, yeah.
So Pallas Athena is her full name because she killed her friend Pallas when they were sparring as children. She felt so bad she took her name.
Pallas, like one of the twin children of Dionysus.
I think so. I don't remember too well. Blackmailed their way into the pantheon by holding another god hostage. It was Hephaestus. Hephaestus was kicked off Mount Olympus when he was born because he was born ugly, which is unacceptable by gods. He worked as a blacksmith on an island, and when he found out who his true parents were, he got so bitter he made a golden throne for Hera, and when Hera sat on it, the throne absorbed her and she couldn't escape. And none of the gods could break it, so Zeus called Hephaestus to Mount Olympus and offered him the role of being the god of the forge if he let his mother go, which he did.
I did not remember Festus. I don't know why, but in my head just...
I remember him being thrown. He's married to Aphrodite, but Aphrodite always cucks him.
Yeah.
And he has he's often portrayed having a gammy leg because he was thrown from Olympus.
Yeah. So the final one is the infant Hercules. Threw the infant Hercules to the ground when he pierced her nipple as she weaned him.
Hera.
Yeah. It's Hera. And what's quite funny about the myth is Hera only deduced that he was part god when she threw him to the ground and he didn't splat. It wasn't the piercing of the teeth. And she's like, wait a second, Zeus has done it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially her and Athena found the infant baby Hercules in the field, and Athena went, "You're the god of motherhood, you should probably wean that child," to which Hera was like, "Fine, I guess I'll do the one thing, I'll do one good thing in all of these mythologies." Picked up Hercules, bit her on the nip, and she said, "Nope, I'm done." Threw him to the floor.
The last thing of Heracles.
Yeah.
As it should be called.
So, we have...
Which also, again, dick move by Zeus. Heracles, as in victory over Hera. That's why he was named, right? So she's weaning this baby, it's like, oh, what should we name it? Victory over you, my love. Fuck
so,
you.
at the end of our mythology, the winner
Jonah.
is Jonah by 5-3.
Congratulations, Jonah.
Jonah, you are distinctly mortal, and Saul, you are
To the
too
microphone.
ugly for Mount Olympus and have been thrown.
thrown. Yeah. So, yes, with a score of 5-3, Jonah has won this round of
I
mythology.
like that. We should do mythology quizzes.
Yeah, you think it was good?
Yeah, I like the mythology quiz. So every time Val's not here,
Mythology quiz.
mythology quiz.
And GCSEs.
Nah, fuck GCSEs. I'll do something else.
But that
Oh yeah, we have to do that Orca thing now.
So, wonderful listeners, thank you for sticking with us to the end. The reorganised national late shift will return.
We've done our Today in History, which I hope you've enjoyed. We've had our GCSE questions, which will never return. We might revisit the mythology.
But more importantly, the boys have proven that without a strong, dominant woman to control their lives, it can potentially all fall apart. So,
But it hasn't.
But it hasn't. We have formed some kind of codependency with one another. But on that, I say, I've been James. Goodbye.
I have been Saul. Goodbye.
I was Jonah. See you around.
Okay, that's ominous.